are fine. So as you've seen in the thumbnail, today we are gonna see, what if Naruto was an uchiha and was the son of goddess Athena? Now let's move on to the video. Athena was tired of her temperamental father, tired of her troublesome family, and most of all tired of not finding anything new to learn. One day decided to go out of the Greek domains and get a little vacation, calling in a favor from her friend Omoikane, the Shinto god of wisdom and intelligence. She is given an audience with Hikari, the patron goddess of the Shinto pantheon. A month later she went to the meeting with the pantheon to have her audience and see if she could be accepted to learn more about their domain. After talking to the Shinto gods to see if she could learn more about their culture, she is given the opportunity of going to the Shinto hidden lands called the Elemental Nations that is protected by a divine barrier so mortals can't pass through it. It was decided that she could pass at most 5 months per visit because she, unlike other Greek gods, has good relations with the Shinto pantheon. Athena's pov of her time in the Elemental Nations. I just arrived in the Elemental Nations and have been roaming through different nations trying to soak up as much knowledge as I can. This culture is really interesting. I mean mortal energies that let them use the elements at will and do other extraordinary feats. I gotta keep looking into this realm's history. Time skip 2 weeks. I just arrived at a village named Konohagakure. The architecture of this village is the most wonderful I've seen so far. The most impressive thing is the mountain they call the Hokage Monument. I mean look at this, the stone faces. They are perfectly carved into the side of the mountain and it reminds me a lot of Mount Rushmore, with the 4 faces that are there. I'm guessing that the Hokage is the leader of the village. I wonder if I could perhaps have an audience with him. Hokage Tower normal pov. Hey, Hokage-sama, there's a tourist that wishes to have an audience with you, said the secretary. Kagami, is it okay if we plan the village defenses later? I'm really getting mentally exhausted from thinking so much so early in the morning, asked the Hokage. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Do you wish for me to depart from this meeting? Asked Kagami, not wanting to intrude. No, you may stay. We could continue after our little chat with this visitor, said the Hokage to his old friend. After their little chat, the secretary walked out knowing that she could go and fetch the visitor so that they could finish with what she wanted to know so that they could get to their preview topic knowing that it was of great importance. Hey Ms. you may come in. The Hokage is expecting you, the secretary said with a polite smile. After saying that, a woman walked inside the office expecting to see an old man, but instead she was greeted with 2 young gentlemen, one that seemed to be in his early to mid-20s and the other that seemed to be in his mid to late 20s, almost 30. Kagami's pov. I was waiting with Minato in the office to talk with the visitor and get it done quick. After all, Shisui is home and I need to prepare him a bento for tomorrow, with him being in the academy and all. That boy is a prodigy. The village is pushing me to accept that he be promoted to a genin in rank. I mean he is 8 now, so I'll let him decide. After all, I was already chunin at that time, but those were times off. All my thoughts stopped. I thought I was seeing things. Right there in front of me was the most beautiful woman I've seen since my deceased wife. Normal pov. Minato notices that Kagami all of a sudden stopped what he was doing and had a faint blush on his face. This was the first time he saw the stoic Uchiha actually blush. He smiles and makes jokes every so often, but he's never seen an Uchiha blush. Minato got a mischievous smirk on and was planning on telling Kushina. He knew she would never let Kagami hear the last of it. Looking at the door, he understood why his friend was blushing. After all, the woman standing there in front of them was a beauty. This woman was an olive skin, with gray stormy eyes that seemed to be calculating everything around her, and was exuding an aura of power around her that showed her strength. Her posture was that of nobility, meaning she was probably a woman of a powerful clan or maybe even the daughter of a daimyo. Clearing his throat, he got both of their attention. Hey miss, my name is Minato Namikaze, the 4th Hokage, and this is the village defense strategist Kagami Uchiha of the Uchiha clan. May I please know your name? He said with a polite smile. She was impressed with their mannerism the man in front of her showed. After all, most man would be drooling over her at this point, though it was not lost on her that the so-called strategist of the strongest village in the Elemental Nations is blushing with a stoic face in front of her. Smiling internally, she thought that it was going to be an interesting meeting. She decided to introduce herself and not keep them waiting any longer. Hey, my name is Athena. I am a traveler from island around the coast of Uzu no Kuni, and I wanted to visit the mainland to learn the culture, and see if I could learn the ways of the ninjas, she said with a charming smile that made Kagami blush a little harder. Well, if you want, I could have my friend Kagami here take you around the village and tell you a little about our village history. Keep in mind that this is a military village, so no village secrets can be disclosed to you till you pass a probation month to see if you would be any danger to the village, said Minato, knowing that his friend liked the women in front of them, and who knows, if everything goes right then him and Kushina can do a double date with them. 3 months after her arrival, later we see Minato, Kushina, Athena, and Kagami on a double date to the Golden Leaf. Kagami, Minato, Kushina, there is something I have to tell you guys, Athena said to get her friends' and boyfriend's attention. Yeah, what is it, Athena-chan? Asked Kushina, wanting to know what her friend was about to tell them. After all, she is one of her best friends. Athena, Makoto and herself got close during this 2 months. Makoto, Athena and her always were seen together in the village when they were not out on missions. They were called the 3 goddesses of the leaf. The irony was not lost to Athena. After all, she is a real goddess herself. Well, I just wanted to let you know about my real background. Just know that everything I'm about to tell you is the truth and is supposed to stay between us. Is okay if you don't believe me, but I'll tell you anyway, she said, a little nervous, something uncharacteristic of her. If one of her godly family knew of this moment, she wouldn't hear the end of it, especially from Apollo and Hermes. This got the others intrigued. Minato saw that this was something for the rears only and nodded with a look of seriousness, so with this in mind he put a silencing seal and view blocking barrier so nobody can read their lips. Okay, so now you could tell us nobody is going to see or hear what we are going to talk about, Minato said with a smile. Thank you, Minato. I appreciate that. I really didn't want others listening in on our conversation. At this Minato nodded with his smile intact. Well, now that that's done, I want to tell you guys that I am not really from this world. My actual name is Athena, yes, and I am the Greek goddess of wisdom, war, strategy, handicrafts, and practical reasoning, and I came here for a vacation from my duties as a goddess. I'm going to be staying here for the next 2.5 months, and after that I'll have to go back to my realm. But thanks to the gods of this realm I am eligible to come back within a few years for another 5 months. She said rapidly, closing her eyes, not wanting to see their hurt and betrayed faces, especially the face of her new mortal lover. So, our relationship means nothing to you, Kagami said in a hushed voice. Were you just playing with me this whole time? He asked, feeling betrayed. No, she suddenly screamed. Never say that, you idiot. You were my first actual boyfriend. All the kids I have had are brain kids, meaning that I and their dads only talk once or twice, she said in a low voice. I love you, Kagami. This is the first time I have feel this way. I've always thought that love was pointless, but now I just feel too much emotions towards you. Even though we have been with each other for 3 months, this has been my first real relationship, she said with a few tears falling from her face. Kagami felt like an asshole, saying that knowing that she was genuine with her feelings. Sighing he said, I'm sorry, but you have been the only other woman I have been ever since my deceased wife. I don't want to be betrayed, not by you, he said with a downcast look. Minato, seeing the mood the conversation was taking, decided to talk. Well, now that that's been brought up, I'm actually surprised. I need to know what you mean by brain children, he asked. Kushina looked at her best friend, wanting to know this as well. How can someone, even if it's a god, have children out of their brain? Athena answered that question nonchalantly. Well, that's easy to explain. I am a virgin goddess. You see, I swore on the sticks to remain a virgin, meaning I could only have children mixing my essence with that of my lovers via telepathy. In other words, I bring them into a share mindscape where we mix our essence. Then I get pregnant for a month or 2 and Viola I have a baby, though the gender is random so I never know what I'm going to have. The only thing I do know is that the kid always inherits my eyes color and some of my power and intellect. Also, I have an alternate side. Her name is Minerva. She is the more pacific one of us, but she is still on the militaristic side of things. Also, the kid always inherits the father hair color and more of his physical and, in you guys' case, chakra traits. She said. The others were shocked at this, and even though Kagami was no pervert, he wanted to tap that. He felt a little sad about not being intimate with his lover, but he still loves her, so it won't matter. What matters most is that they love each other, and she can still give him a kid as a physical manifestation of their love for one another. That night, the goddess was pregnant by her, and Kagami mixed their essences so she could have his child. 2 months later, we see Athena walking beside Kagami. Athena was carrying a baby boy that looks no older than 1 or 2 weeks old. Walking with her and her boyfriend was little Shisui. He was looking at his baby brother with warmth, saying something about wanting to protect him from any bad guy that wanted to damage his baby brother. The little bundle in question had olive skin, midnight blue hair with astonishing stormy gray eyes. His little facial features look of those of his brother. He was another mini Kagami, but this one had gray eyes. This whole month has been one of the best for Athena. She got to be with her newborn and didn't have to worry about ancient laws or any other sort of that matter, though her time was almost up. So, it's almost time, huh? Asked Kagami, knowing that his girlfriend has to go. Yeah, said a dejected Athena. This baby was her favorite son by far, and her other favorite was her daughter Annabeth. She wondered how her little girl was doing. Her daughter was about 9 months old, and she wanted to see her. Even if it was from afar, she was going to ask the Shinto gods to take pictures of her little Naruto and send them to her so she could have every moment of his childhood in a photo album of her two favorite babies. Also, something she noticed is that when she carries Naruto, her and her Roman self become one in a sort of manner. Seeing this, she took some time analyzing Naruto's blood and found that Naruto was both Roman and Greek. There was something else she didn't know at the moment, some other part of his blood that had her confused, though this has never happened before. After all, he is the first child of Greece and Rome. Today was the day that Athena had to go back to her realm. Well, Athena-chan, I guess this is a goodbye. LL miss you, said Kagami, a little sad that his girlfriend had to leave. But he knew it will be really far-fetched that he sees her again. That's the life of a shinobi. Today you are here, but you never know about tomorrow. Though he didn't know how true those words were in his case. Athena smiled sadly and said, if I don't ever see you again, know that I love you and that you'll always have a place in my heart no matter what, she said, a silver tear running down her cheek. He wiped the tear away and with a sad smile said, this is hard to say for me, but live the rest of your immortal life with no regrets, and if anything happens to me, please find love again. Oh, and before I forget, keep smiling. You look beautiful when you smile, he said, making her blush. After saying that, they both kissed each other and said their goodbye, having a feeling that this will be the last time they see each other, not knowing how right they were. After saying her goodbyes, she teleported to her temple in Olympus with a silver tear running down her cheek. Time skip 1 month. It's been a month that Athena left the Hidden Leaf in an S-rank mission, and no one has heard of her. This made her be on the MIA list of shinobis. Only 3 people knew who and where she was. Out of those 3, 2 of them were now outside the village because Kushina was giving birth to her first and only daughter, Mito Uzumaki Namikaze. That night was peaceful till, roar. A bestial growl was heard throughout the entire village. Jumping out of his bed, Kagami went outside in his full shinobi gear to see what the hell was going on. Same could be said from Shisui. In front of them was a nine-tailed fox tearing the village apart. Shisui, go and get your brother. After doing so, go straight for the civilian refuge and stay there, no matter what. Am I understood? He said in a firm voice. Hi, Otosan. I will protect my little brother with everything I got, said Shisui with his two Tomo Sharingans active and a determined look on his eyes. Seeing this, Kagami hugged his 7-year-old kid and said, if anything happens, know that I am proud of you and your little brother, and I'll always be with you guys no matter what. Also, I have one last mission for you that is more important than the village itself, okay? Said Kagami. Shisui's eyes opened wide because he knew that his father told him to put the village over everything, even his clan, because he always had to protect the next generation. Seeing the shock in his son's eyes, he said, this mission is to protect your brother at all cost. Even if it means going against the village, always protect him. This is a mission and one last request from me. Take care of yourself too, okay? With that, he hugged his son and said, I love you and your brother a lot, my little soldier. Goodbye, son, grow strong and make me proud. After saying that, he left to fight to protect his home. Seeing his father gone, Shisui ran to his brother's room and picked him up, saying, okay, Ototo, let's go. Don't worry, we will be alright. Running towards the refuge, he closed the door behind him. Once out, he saw all the destruction and couldn't help but grimace. Looking down at his brother, he activated his Sharingan that now had 3 Tomo and started running, evading all the people and debris that are in the floor. Tired of doing so, he decided to go via rooftops. Once on the rooftop, he saw the chaos that was unleashed and wanted to help, but remembered his father's words, protect your brother, even more so than the village. With that, he started jumping again, keeping his tears in check. Getting to the refuge, he stood there and met his cousin, Itachi. He was 2 years younger than him and they made good friends right away. Itachi showed him his little brother Sasuke, and Shisui did the same with little Naruto, stating that his brother was going to be stronger than that of Itachi's. Change point of view to Minato and Kagami. Minato, hearing his name being called, Minato turned around to see his best friend and partner. Hey Kagami, what's the situation in the village? Asked Minato, even though he knew most of the answer. Well, most of the children and civilians have been evacuated. We have lost a quarter of our shinobis and the shopping district was completely destroyed, with a couple of MIA and other KIA shinobis. He said this with a stoic expression. Minato grimaced at that. Well, the only thing that could stop this fucker is sealing it, he said, knowing he had to do a major sacrifice. Where do you plan on sealing the beast? Asked Kagami, not liking where this was going. I plan to seal it inside my newborn daughter, he said with a serious but sad face. Kagami didn't like that answer but complied nonetheless. With that, both left via their respective space-time ninjutsu to reappear in Kushina and Minato's house. Minato, what are you going to do? We need to seal the Kyuubi, so maybe we could seal it inside me again like that. I will die taking it with me, she said with desperation, knowing what Minato was planning on doing. Minato shook his head and said, no, Mito needs a mother and you could help with Naruto a bit. He is your godson after all. With that being said, she knew none of them were planning to get out of this one alive. Being the stubborn Uzumaki she is, she said, then I'm going to help you guys seal it so we all have a chance of coming back to our kids. With that, they all nodded. Minato grabbed Kushina and Kagami grabbed his goddaughter and they both teleported to the battlefield once more. Once on the battlefield, both of them went through hand seals and said summoning jutsu. Within a plume of smoke, 2 giant new creatures appeared. On top of a black phoenix was Kagami with Mito in his arms. Next to him was Minato on top of Gamabunta with Kushina holding on to his back. Kagami activated his Mangekyo to cast a disorienting genjutsu on the tailed beast. After doing so, he and Minato drove the fox out of the village with the help of their summons. After a couple of minutes of fighting, Kagami gave Mito to one of his shadow clones and started to distract the fox while Minato and Kushina prepared the seal. We're done, Kagami. I'm going to start the sealing process, said Minato, rapidly going through the death summoning seals. Kyuubi noticed this and tried to attack Minato, but a still weak Kushina held him back with her chakra chains. Finishing the seals, the Shinigami appeared and said, why did you summon me, mortal? Minato looked at the Shinigami and said, I need you to help me seal the Kyuubi in my daughter, pointing at the altar where Mito was located. Okay, mortal. You do know the price is double because the Kyuubi is the strongest Biju, said Shinigami with a sinister smile. Knowing something like this was going to happen, Kagami stepped up and said, that second offering will be me, then we can't let that beast go rampant on the world. Hearing this, the Shinigami nodded and said, very well. That being said, Shinigami got his hands inside Minato and Kagami and started extracting the soul of the Biju. With the little time they had left, Minato and Kagami both wrote a letter and made a blood seal that only their kids and the previous Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi, will be able to read. In one last-ditch effort to escape his destiny, the fox tried stabbing his claws at the baby girl, only to be stopped by Kagami, Kushina, and Minato, who all were stabbed through the abdomen. Kagami, with his last bit of strength, put the fox on a major chakra-consuming, sleep-inducing genjutsu with his MS, Mangekyo Sharingan. Dying right after that, Minato and Kushina had little time. Minato sealed his and Kushina's remaining chakra on Mito's seal. After everything was done, the third Hokage arrived on the scene with a tear-struck face, noticing his last apprentice, his successor and successor's wife. The only one with a little bit of life left was Kushina, who gave Sarutobi 3 letters and said one last sentence before dying. My baby's name is Mito. Protect our kids. With that said, she gave her last breath and passed away, leaving a crying old man, and an astonished but sad Anbu squad. That day all of them promised to look after the kids of these 3 heroes. 4 years later, It's been 4 years since that fateful night. On a house inside the Uchiha compound, we now see a 4-year-old Naruto practicing the water walking exercise on his family backyard pond. Comment Ototo, I know you could accomplish the exercise, said one excited 13-year-old Shisui. After all, his little brother was learning an exercise that genin struggle with, but throughout the years he learned that Naruto was the literal meaning of the word prodigy. His little brother soaked everything like a sponge and he had a photographic memory without the help of the Sharingan, something impressive. Look, big brother, I'm doing it, said an excited Naruto. He walked a little bit before dropping to the water unceremoniously. Ha, 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 laughed Shisui, seeing his little brother coming out of the pond soaking wet. It's not funny. I'm wet and tired. Big brother, can I take a rest now? Asked Naruto. Seeing Naruto tired, Shisui relented. Okay, little one, let us go get you dried up and get you some pocky. What do you say? Naruto perked up a little. Pocky was his favorite. He liked sweets and Pocky was his main one, followed closely by Dango. Shisui blamed Itachi for that because he infected his little brother with his addiction to Pocky. Walking through the Uchiha compound, very few of the Uchihas said hi to Naruto and others sended him dirty looks. Noticing this, Shisui walked a little faster towards the sweet shop. Once at the shop, Naruto spoke up. Big brother, why do they look at me with that face? We are family, aren't we? Shisui clenched his fist and said, it's nothing, little one, they are just being ignorant. Just ignore them. They can't do nothing to you, plus you have me, Itachi and Auntie Mikoto. We are your family and we love you. After paying for the treats, they left for the park so Naruto can play a little bit with kids his age. Once in the park, they saw their aunt. Naruto, being the kid he was, went running to hug his auntie. Hey auntie, how are you? I missed you. Makoto smiled. It was always refreshing to see her nephews. They were some of the only non-constantly stoic Uchiha, which was a good change for once. Itachi is too serious for his own good, she thought. Hey Naru-chan, I missed you too. I'm good, by the way. How's your training going? She asked, knowing Naruto was a natural prodigy like his mother was learning stuff the moment they were explained to her. It's going great, he said excitedly. Today I was learning the water walking exercise. I managed to walk a little before falling because I was too tired. He mumbled the last part with a pout, knowing he needed to work on that and that the exercise was not mastered yet. Hearing that last part, Makoto couldn't help but giggle a bit at his antics. It's okay, you'll get it in no time. Now go and have some fun, she said, ushering him to go and play with the other kids. Hey Shisui, how are you? Asked Makoto, seeing her eldest nephew approaching her. Hey Andy, I'm good. How is Itachi and little Sasuke? He asked, wanting to know about his two younger cousins. They are both good. Itachi is training for his Chunin exams and Sasuke is home because he decided that he didn't want to come to the park, so I decided to bring Mito instead, she said, looking over to the girl in question. She is my niece after all, said Makoto, staring at the little red-headed girl that was playing with Naruto. The girl reminded her so much of Yushina, her sister figure, that it was not even funny. Noticing the playing kids, she added, maybe the Uchiha and Uzumaki are going to become one. After all, they seem to enjoy being with one another, while stifling a giggle. On another note, have you already checked for his elemental affinities? Shisui shook his head. Not yet. I have been waiting till he completes water walking so he has the control required for most of the jutsus, he said. Makoto nodded at this and said, remember that if you need anything, the Uchiha library is always near, she said with a small smile. 3 months later. It's been 3 months since that day in the park today. Yesterday Shisui went on a mission and depending on how fast he completed it he will get home today or tomorrow. We now see Naruto walking up to Uchiha's head house. Getting there he knocked on the door. Knock, knock. Hey Naru-chan, said Makoto, opening the door for Naruto and hugging him. Is there anything you need, little one? She asked him because he barely visited her, only visiting when he needed something. It was something he inherited from his older brother. They didn't like bothering, even though they knew they could go to her any time. Well, Auntie Shisui told me to come to you to test my elemental affinity, saying something about he'll ask you later and something about our family origins, he said. After hearing that she knew what Shisui was talking about, he wanted to see if he inherited anything from her father and great-grandparents. Okay Naru, come with me to the back. I have the chakra paper there, said Makoto, eager to see which part of their elemental bloodline he received. It was not well known, but every few generations Susanoo, Amaterasu, and Tsukuyomi came down in human form to the Uchiha clan and maintained the main branch pure by reintroducing their genes in the clan. It so happens that Tsukuyomi is Makoto's and Kagami's great-grandmother. Amaterasu is their grandmother and Susanoo is their father. Only the direct family knew of this little fact, meaning Makoto, Shisui, and Itachi are the only ones with this knowledge. Not even her husband Fugaku knew this. That's why Makoto, Itachi is the best in genjutsu in the clan. It's due to Tsukuyomi's blood that runs deep within them. Same could be said of their Kaden, Raiden, Fuden, and Suiten affinities from Susanoo and Amaterasu. Both Shisui and Itachi have affinities. Itachi has wind, water, and fire, while Shisui have wind, lightning, and fire affinities. With this in mind, she gave him a chakra paper. Did Shisui tell you how it works, Naruto-chan? She asked. Naruto nodded and gave her a rundown of what he knew about elemental affinities. I see that little knucklehead taught you well. Okay, now then push some of your chakra to the paper and let's see what happens, she said, eager to know what his affinities are going to be. Naruto pushed a little bit of chakra into the paper. Glowing silver, for a second the paper did something crazy. It got cut into 4 pieces. One piece got shredded into little pieces. Another piece turned into a ball with little black sparks coming off it. The other got soaked and the last one ignited. They thought that was it, but all of a sudden the paper that had the lightning sparks in it turned into a little storm cloud with black lightning and a little bit of rain coming off it. Makoto was more than shocked. This is the 2nd time something like this happens, the first time being an ancestor of them, but for the blood of Susanoo to run so strong in him it was impressive. It seems you got father's bloodline. The storm released something very few have obtained, not even your dad, or I inherited that from him, she said, amazed by seeing her nephew affinities. Auntie, can you tell me more about my parents? He asked, wanting to know about his parents. Of course, honey, come to sit. I'll tell you about them, she said, patting her thigh for him to sit. After doing so she hugged him and started playing with soft locks, telling him a little about his parents. 6 months later. Come on Naruto, you need to make it hotter, was what Shisui was telling Naruto. If you make it hot enough I'll enroll you in the academy. Hearing this, Naruto's eyes opened full of determination. It was common knowledge that Naruto wanted to be like his older brother, who was one of the strongest ANBUs the village had alongside Kakashi and Itachi. The 3 of them and a friend of Shisui was part of the strongest Anbu squad in the village team RO. Just you wait, big brother, I will do it in no time, were the words of one exhausted Naruto. Panting hard he went through the hand seals one last time. This time I'll get it, fire style, great fireball jutsu. He called out his jutsu and controlled it till the point that the flames were a bright orange, forming a massive ball of fire that evaporated some of the water of the little pond in their backyard. After finishing the jutsu, he collapses to the ground exhausted but with a little smile on his face. Well, that was impressive. If you do it again tomorrow, then I'll enroll you in the academy so you can start next week with the other kid. What do you think about it? Said Shisui, walking over to Naruto. Picking him up, Naruto was closing his eyes, but he managed one last hi before falling unconscious. It's been a week since that day. Big brother, I want to be a big and strong Anbu like you, said one Naruto, excited that he was about to go to the academy. Hey, come here little one, I have something to tell you before going to the academy. Okay, said Shisui. Naruto nodded at this. Well then listen Naru, you are going to be the youngest in your class, so don't listen to bullies and know that if it gets hard I'm here to help you, okay? He said, getting a nod from Naruto. 1 year and 4 months later. It's been a year and 4 months that Naruto started his classes in the academy. And Naruto was the top student in the academy. It was to the point that he just sent a clone to the academy and stayed home reading scrolls and training to better his abilities. In the academy, the clone was really reserved and barely had any friends. This was due to Naruto not being good socializing with others, and some of the civilian kids fearing his strength. All the teacher were pushing to make him a genin, already stating that he is too strong and that the academy is only holding him back. Even the Hokage thought that it would better if he was to be put as a genin under a Junin sensei. We now see Naruto doing his daily run throughout the village training grounds when Naruto Uchiha, Danzo-sama wishes to speak with you. If you don't comply, we will have to use force. Naruto was about to go with them till he remembered something that Shisui said 2 months ago. Never trust Danzo. Avoid him as much as possible, was what his elder brother said. Getting ready to fight or flight, he got into the interceptor fist stance and waited for an opening, calculating all the possibilities he had to ensure his survival. Meanwhile, with Shisui, Hokage-sama, I am here to let you know about something of great concern, said one Shisui in his Anbu uniform. This is about village security, he said with a really serious face. Seeing this, the Hokage nodded and sent all the other Anbu out of his office. After they were alone with privacy seals on, the third said, Report Crow. What's this matter of importance? He said in a commanding voice. Sandaime-sama, the Uchiha are planning a coup d'etat, he said with a somber tone, knowing this could deal a major blow to the village security. Hiruzen looked at him with a grave look and said, Who are his supporters and why did this happen? Are Itachi and Makoto in on this too? He asked, knowing those two loyalty towards the village, but it was choosing family or village and he didn't know which they would choose if push comes to shove. I talked to Itachi and he said that he and his mother will stand by the village side no matter what, said Shisui. The Sandaime knew the answer, he just wanted to make sure. Back to Naruto. Sweating Naruto was trying his best, but it was not enough till one of the ANBUs came at him at high Chunin speeds, aiming to decapitate him. At that moment, Naruto had an epiphany. He was about to die. Scared for his life, he started to see everything in slow motion. He felt as if the world was mocking him, making his last seconds alive the longest he ever had. Not wanting to die, he took his kunai and held it in a reverse grip and flared his chakra, sending a big pulse and jumped in the air. He threw the kunai and went through some quick hand seals, saying, Cage kunai. No jutsu. The kunai he threw became 100. Still in his adrenaline rush, he went through some more hand seals and said, Kaden. Gokaku no jutsu, incinerating everything in front of him. At that moment a squad of Anbu showed up and finished the enemy Anbu. Seeing he was safe, Naruto took some time to think about what just happened till it all came down on him like a brick wall. I just killed somebody. He stood there in shock when Shisui arrived and hugged him. Seeing him panicked. It's okay little brother. Tell me what happened, who attacked you? After hearing his big brother, Naruto broke down crying, remembering he just killed someone, and started telling Shisui what happened. After hearing his little brother explain what happened, Shisui was livid. How could Danzo try something against his baby brother? Turning around to see the Hokage approaching him, he said, with all due respect Hokage-sama, but if you don't put a leash on Danzo I will kill him, myself. This is unacceptable. My little brother could have died because of some, nay, Anbu. If this happens again, consider the village elder dead because he will be, he warned in an icy voice with no emotions. Shocked that his subordinate just spoke to him in such a way, he said, Is that a threat, in an icy tone. No, Hokage-sama, is a promise. My dad's last mission for me was to protect my little brother from any threats, and if the village elder is one, then he is going to be dealt with accordingly. With that said, he left the clearing carrying his little brother on his shoulder and went home. On his way home, Shisui was thinking about his little brother's Sharingan. It looks like he activated it due to the stress of the fight. Though with further thinking he remembered his eyes were different from that of the normal Sharingan. His looked to be a storm with a gray and an imperial blue ring that connects to two red tomo that seemed to be spinning hypnotically. Thinking about that, he had to design a new training schedule for his little brother. From this experience he was sure that his little brother is almost ready to be a genin, and Andy Makoto said she wanted to be his Junin sensei. This would most definitely be an interesting couple of years. He just wished that the Uchiha abandoned the plan of having a coup d'etat. 2 weeks later, we can see Naruto practicing using his Sharingan while sparring with his big brother. Something they noticed was that his Sharingan started on the second stage for both his eyes, so with a year or so of intense training and sparring he will be able to mature his Sharingan. Okay, let's take a break, said Shisui, thinking on how to start Naruto on Genjutsu. After all, he wanted to know if he was going to be a prodigy in that like he, Shisui, is it ran in their blood, being legacies of Tsukuyomi and all. 8 months later. It's been 8 months since that fiasco, and we now see a Naruto about to take the Genin test. Hey Naruto-san, are you ready to take the test? Asked the academy instructor. Yeah, Aoba-sensei, let's do this, he said calmly. First test. Accuracy, Shurikenjutsu test. This test was to hit a moving target in vital areas with kunai and shuriken. You have 9 tries with each set, so aim them good, okay? He said to receive an high, throwing all the shurikens at once. He hit every vital spot bullseye. This was due to his big brother drilling that having 10 techniques that you know mastered is better than having 1,000 techniques and not master none of them. With this in mind, he threw all 9 kunais and hit dead center in all the bullseye on the target. Second test. Taijutsu. You need to last at least 10 minutes with one of the chunins and try to at least land 1 punch. For him this was going to be easy. After all, he spars with his older brother for 30 minutes every day for him to get accustomed to the Sharingan. Once the 10 minutes were up, he managed to land a couple of nice hits on the instructor, something that astonished the couple of ninjas that were present in the academy at that time. Third test. Ninjutsu. Okay, so for this test you need to show us the substitution. The henge, and a clone jutsu. For extra credit you could do a jutsu of your choosing. At this, Naruto started with the henge. He did a henge of his dad flawlessly with no hand signs and no smoke. He then performed the substitution with a leaf from one of the trees outside the window and decided to do a lightning clone. After that he performed a great fireball jutsu as extra credit. Needless to say, that the instructors were left speechless again. Fourth test. Genjutsu. So for Genjutsu, you have to try and cancel some Genjutsus from E to high C rank. In this one, he knew he was not going to have a perfect score. Why? One may ask. Well, that's pretty simple. He started Genjutsu dispelling 5 months ago and can only dispel up to mid-C ranks. In this test, he didn't get a perfect score, but he was satisfied that he did well in this portion. Genjutsu is one of his favorite ninja arts, so he wanted to explore that area more once he gets a Junin sensei. His last test was the easiest by far. He had to fill 10 academy level questions. This was easy for him because he was already reading up on Chunin to Junin level strategies. He finished reading every history books he found home, which was a lot, and finished reading the mapping books he had available. So he was a mini walking library, something that amused Shisui a lot, and his photographic memory helped him a lot to memorize the things he read up on. In other words, he aced the reading exam. Congratulations Naruto-san. It seems that you passed everything with flying colors. You may now pick a headband of your choosing. Nodding towards the Chunin instructor, Naruto went and picked up a black headband, thinking of customizing the Leaf Village plate in the band, not liking the color too much, thinking that it was too bright for a ninja. Putting it around his neck, he started walking to go to his house. Getting home, we see a happy Naruto that was looking for his older brother, trying to tell him the good news. Finding him in the study, he walks up to him and says, "I did it, big brother," showing his headband that was hanging loosely from his neck. "I'm proud of you, little brother," said Shisui, happy looking at his little brother with pride. "So, you're a genin now, huh?" he asked in a playful tone. "I heard from the Hokage that you were going to be meeting your new sensei 3 days from now. Be ready and show them how strong you are, little brother, okay?" he said with a cheeky smile. "I will, big brother, just you wait," he said enthusiastically. With that done, Naruto started to do his afternoon exercise. Meeting new sensei. It's been 3 days since Naruto graduated from the academy, and now he was going back to meet his new sense. He was eager to get to know his Junin sensei. After all, Junin were some of the strongest ninjas in the village. Also, he wanted to see if he could learn Kenjutsu from his Junin sensei. His father was a Kenjutsu master, and he wanted to follow in his steps. On that, he guessed that his teacher was going to be an uchiha to help him with his Sharingan, something he wasn't too happy about, but he will try his best. Walking into the classroom, his old sensei said to Gota. He noticed he was the only one who graduated early this year. Looking to the teacher's desk, he saw his teacher Aoba waiting patiently for him, motioning for him to take a seat, which he did. "Okay, Naruto-san, as you may see, you were the only one nominated to graduate early this year, so a Junin decided to make you her apprentice. Regularly, I would have given you a speech on how you should be proud to be a ninja and to try your best. But I know that even at your age, you already know about the reality of the ninja world. So my only advice will be, always keep alert and never let your guard down during missions. And last but not least, I am proud to have had you as a student, and I wish you the best of lucks out there. Your Junin sensei is waiting for you at the rooftop of the academy." With that being said, Aoba stood up and went to his new classroom to start giving lessons. Seeing his teacher gone, Naruto decided to body flicker to the roof. Appearing in a storm cloud, Naruto was on the roof checking to find his sensei. After turning around, he was surprised to hear the voice of his new sensei. Turning around quickly with a smile on his face, he said, "Auntie, you are my new sense." Standing there in front of him was Makoto, dressed in a black uchiha shirt and a Junin flak jacket, black spandex shorts with white medical tape around her shins and calves. Around her waist she had a black sash with a fire emblem on it, and a black katana with a red hilt on the hilt. It had the Uchiha crest on it. She was wearing her headband proudly on her bicep with her hair up in a ponytail. "Hey Naruto, I like your new outfit. It suits you, and yes, I am your new sensei. By the way, while we are on duty, I want you to call me Makoto Sensei or just Sensei, okay?" She said, looking at Naruto's outfit. Same as Sasuke in Shippuden, but instead of white and purple, is silver and black with silver streaks and a royal blue sash on his waist. His hairstyle looking that of Shisui's but more tamed and more curly, she noticed, adding in the last part as an afterthought. "Okay Naruto, let's get on this. I want you to tell me your likes, dislikes, dreams for the future, what you already know, and what you want to learn or perfect with me as your sensei." "Sensei, can you start please? I know we know each other, but I would like to learn more about you like a ninja," Naruto said, being curious about his auntie's ninja career. "Well, if that's how you want it, I'm okay with doing so," said Makoto with a small smile. "Okay, my name is Makoto Uchiha. My likes are my family, the village, fire manipulation, cooking, and spending time with my family. My dislikes are rapists, traitors, arrogance, and people who abandon their friends. I already accomplished my dream for the future, and my specialties are kenjutsu, genjutsu, fire manipulation, and lightning manipulation. I was part of the 12 Guardians of the Daimyo, and my nickname in the bingo book is the Fire Empress due to my high-level fire manipulation," she said. Naruto was amazed. His aunt was really strong if what he just heard was true. "Now is your turn, Naru," she said with a small smile, seeing the reaction Naruto had to her title and skills. "Well, my name is Naruto Uchiha. My likes are owls, wolves, watching the moon and learning new things. My dislikes are mean people, bullies, rapists, traitors, arrogant people, and people who look at me as an outsider. My dreams for the future are becoming an Anbu and having a big family. What I already know is basic fire manipulation, mid-lightning, water, and wind manipulation along with the body flicker jutsu. What I want to learn from you is kenjutsu and how to efficiently use genjutsu." He said this with a pensive face, trying to figure what he wants to do in the future. "That's great to know. I'll help you with the kenjutsu part, but just know that even though we are family, I'm not going to be easy on you because I'll train you to the ground. Also, due to you wanting to learn kenjutsu from me, we have to get you a sword. Do you know what type of blade you want to use?" she said, asking him what blade he would like to use. "Well, yeah, I think I would like to use a shakudo," he said, wanting to use a straight blade with some reach. "Very well, let's go to the compound's weapon shop where we will get you a custom-made blade. Remember that the sword is supposed to be an extension to your body, so try and get something that represents yourself." With that said, they used body flicker to get to the Uchiha compound entrance. Uchiha compound. Walking into a weapon store, we see Naruto walking to a sword that he felt as if it was calling him. "I see you like that sword." It was a gift from the Uzumaki to the Uchiha before the village was created. It said that it was made for Uchiha Madara's brother Izuna, but he died before he was given this sword. Also, the sword is sentient and has refused everyone that had tried to wield it for some reason, said the shop owner. The sword was a well-made shakudo with a pitch-black chakra metal. On the sides of the blade was a bolt of silver lightning, and on the other side was a golden wolf. In it, the blade had a transcription that said "Will of Iron," with the handle having an Uchiha crest. Surrounding the crest was what looks to be a black stormy cloud. "I like this sword. I feel as if I was connected to it. I don't know how to explain it, but I would like that sword. How much do I have to pay for it so I could ask my big brother?" he asked. "It's okay. I have that covered. Tell me the price and I'll pay for it. I'm your teacher after all," said Makoto, wanting to connect with her student, nephew more. "Well, that will be 4,500 ryo for you, Makoto Dono," said the store owner. Makoto nodded and paid for the sword. Walking out, Naruto looked at his auntie and said, "Thanks, auntie. I appreciate that," with a big smile looking at his new sword. "Well, Naru, now that you have your sword, what will you name it?" she asked. At this, Naruto started thinking up a name when he felt as if the sword spoke to him. "Her name is Stormbringer," he said. Makoto noticed that he referred to the sword as she and asked, "Why is it a she?" "Because I heard her voice when I touched her," he said, not knowing exactly why he called his sword that way. Makoto laughed at this. "Well then, take good care of her. She is one of the only things you can fully trust in this ninja world," said Makoto, knowing that in the ninja world not everything is as it seems. Time skip. Chunin nomination. It's been a year and Naruto has trained till exhaustion, wanting to surpass the expectation the clan has of him, being one of the few prodigies of the Uchiha clan within this new generation. He noticed that the clan has been hostile towards the village. He did not understand why. His big brother spends less time home, overworking himself. His brother went on a high-rank mission a week ago and he has not returned. He couldn't give him the details of the mission, stating that it was a high-profile missing, meaning he could not talk about it. He was supposed to get back 3 days now, and Naruto was getting worried because his brother was never late. His auntie Makoto tried to keep him far from the village on missions, and Naruto started noticing that something was wrong, but he didn't know what. Today he was going to the Hokage Tower because he was being called by the Hokage and council to a meeting. Curious as to what he was being called for, he got to the tower 10 minutes before what was accorded. "Hey, I'm here because I have a meeting with the Hokage," said Naruto to the secretary. She went through some papers and found him telling him that the council will be waiting for him in 3 minutes. After 3 minutes passed, Naruto knocked on the door, waiting a little bit till he heard an entry from the other side. "Ah, Naruto, you are just in time to come in and stand before the council, please," said the aged Hokage. Walking in, Naruto noticed that his sensei was there with all the prominent clan heads. In the room, starting from the Hokage's left, was the Akamichi clan head Choza Akamichi, the Nara clan head and Jonin commander Shikaku Nara, the Yamanaka clan head Inoichi Yamanaka, the Hyuga clan head Hiyashi Hyuga, the Uchiha clan head Uchiha Fugaku, the Inazuka clan head Sume Inazuka, and the Aburame clan head Shibi Aburame. On his left were the 3 village elders Danzo Shimura, Kaharu Udatane, and Homura Mitokado. Then there was the civilian council full of fat, rich, and power-hungry people. Kneeling down, he put his fist on his heart as a salute and said, "Hokage-sama and honorable council, to what I owe the honor of being brought here." At this, the Uchiha clan head smirked, knowing his nephew was one of, if not the most promising Uchiha from his generation. The other clan heads were impressed and pleased with the mannerism the young Uchiha showed, not showing the Uchiha stock-up attitude. "Raise, young one. We have called you here to talk about a promotion." This caught Naruto off guard, but he didn't show it, only showing a stoic facade to hide his interest. The Hokage continued, "You see, I have spoken to a lot of the ninjas that you and Makoto have gone to missions with and have put up recommendations for you to be promoted. Makoto also thinks you are ready, so we just want to know so we could make it official." Naruto looked towards Makoto for a confirmation, which he got in the form of a nod. "I accept, Hokage-sama. What are going to be my duties from now on?" he asked, keeping up his stoic face, not showing any of the emotions he was feeling. But to the trained eyes of the Hokage, he could see the excitement in the young boy through his eyes. Smiling, he said, "Here is your Chunin vest. In one of the pockets is manual. There you are going to find all the responsibilities, and also know that as a Chunin you have to serve in the academy as a teacher assistant for the total amount of 4-month minimum. Is there anything else I need to know, Hokage-sama, or is that everything? Not to sound disrespectful, but I need to keep up with my training. I'm aiming to be in the Anbu after all, and I can't slack off or be relaxed about my training if I want to get to where I have to be," he said in a respectful tone. At this, the Hokage and the clan head smiled, seeing the dedication of the young prodigy to his ninja career. "It's okay, young one, you are dismissed." Naruto took off to the training grounds via Storm Shunsen, leaving some of the council shocked to see such an advanced way of Shunsen. Uchiha Massacre. It's been 4 months since Naruto was promoted to Chunin. He has been training a lot. His Sharingan matured in the last few months. His Taijutsu was high Chunin. His Genjutsu was at a high Anbu level. His Ninjutsu was high Jonin. His Shuriken Jutsu is at an Anbu level, and his Kenjutsu skills is at a low Jonin. He has been pushing himself a lot ever since Shisui was reported MIA. Because of this, he has been a little depressed. Every day he trained hard or did B or A rank missions to take his mind off the past. Today was no exception. He was coming from an intense training session again. He felt tired. He just wanted to get home and go to bed. The disappearance of his big brother hit him hard. He was his most important person, after all, his last blood connection to his dad. Makoto was right after him, with Itachi being a close third, Makoto being his paternal aunt and all that, but it wasn't the same as immediate family. Getting to the compound, he noticed that all the lights were off. Feeling that it was strange for this to happen, he decided to investigate. Walking into the compound, he turned right and saw something that made him flinch. There in front of him were a lot of bodies littering the ground. Seeing this, he started running, checking if any of the people on the floor were alive. Getting to the store, he bought his Chikuto and he saw the old store owner there lying on the floor. "Hey, old man, are you okay? Answer me." Naruto got worried because this old man was one of the only Uchihas that saw him as part of the clan, and seeing him in this state made his heart sink. "Run, Cuff Naru. Get away from here, cough cuff. Itachi is killing the clan. Cough, you must run." With those last words, the old man passed away. Closing the man's eyes, Naruto started running for the main house, worried about his auntie. "Come on, let me get there in time," he started saying as if it was a mantra. Getting to the Uchiha mansion, he felt 3 chakra signatures, one of them being Itachi and the other 2 were his aunt and uncle. Running to the signatures, he opened a door to see Itachi running his blade through his uncle's eyes. This made Naruto activate his Sharingan and try to stop Itachi from killing his aunt. Appearing in a blur just in the nick of time, he stopped Itachi's blade with his Chikuto and said, "Itachi ni-san, what the hell are you doing? Why are you doing this?" Itachi didn't respond. After Itachi started attacking Naruto in a Kenjutsu match, swings came and went. It was a deadly dance of stabs and parries. Taking the fight outside the mansion, Naruto decided to use jutsus, which Itachi countered and copied with his Sharingan. After a couple of minutes, Naruto started getting tired. He was not in his best shape. He just came from an intense training session that lasted half a day, so he was weakened. "Just give up, Naru. You are going to die anyway. I'm stronger and have more experience." Naruto got mad because Itachi was not one to taunt his opponent while fighting. "Why are you doing this, Itachi? We're family. I trusted you. Shisui trusted you, and you did this." Itachi felt a pang in his heart. He didn't want to do this, but he had to for the good of the village. "You do know I'm not going all out on this fight. I'm just toying with you so you can see how useless you are. Do you want to know what really happened to Shisui? I killed him. He was just as pathetic as you are trusting this forsaken village. I am doing this to prove myself. I am doing this for power. I am doing this because I can and I want to. You want to see how I killed him? I'll show you," he said, as she turned his MS and said, "Tsukuyomi." Tsukuyomi world. Inside the Tsukuyomi world, Itachi appeared in front of Naruto with a tanto in his hand and said, "Hey Naru, welcome to my world. In here 1 second of the outside world is 3 days. So for the next 3 days you are going to see how I murdered Shisui and the whole clan including Makoto. With that said, he started showing Naruto how he killed Shisui and the clan. 3 hours later in the Tsukuyomi world. Stop it. No response. Stop it. No response. Stop it. No response. I'm telling you to stop it. Damn it. With that said, his eyes started spinning rapidly till a new design was seen in his eyes. With a burst of chakra, the Tsukuyomi world started shattering like glass. Outside the Tsukuyomi world, Itachi dropped to one knee. Damn you, Itachi. Naruto said with tears of blood coming down from his eyes. Itachi looked up in shock, looking at Naruto.